properly introduce myself. I'm Devon Black, and I was inspired to create GRM because I had like a lot of family and friends growing up who were in the entertainment business in some capacity. And in my estimate, from my viewpoint, I never really thought that they got fair treatment. And that sort of like stayed within my mind as I grew up. And so in 2004, the first incarnation of GRM Presents was GRM 780 Radio, started by myself and one of my business partners, Frida Thornton. And it was set up to like get airplay, get exposure for independent artists, typically any artist who was kind of like flying under the radar, and in our estimate, didn't get a fair shake. So we did that for 2 years. And again, I would meet many artists. They would say, "Devon, man, it's really hard to get like signed to record deals. It's really hard to get promotion. It's too expensive." Then you have these people who they seem to be affordable, but they're just ripping us off. So I got inspired again. I said, you know what? I can do something about this. And finally, my brother, my cousin, and a friend, they had a group. It was called Varsity Club. And they asked me, "Hey, Devon, can you like manage us and help us get a deal, help us get promotion?" And that's what I did. So I started like managing them. And officially, that's when GRM, Grand Royal Music, was kind of came a reality. So I started working with them. I got them as far as a business meeting or a record deal meeting with a subsidiary of Sony Music. I can't think of the exact one, but it might have been it could have been maybe Loud or something like that. We actually had a meeting, sat down with executives. They told us what they liked about our stuff, told us what they didn't. And bottom line, the stuff that they wanted to work on, they kind of didn't do it. But they gave it the old college try, but some things just don't work. So then I continued doing that. And then another inspiration hit me. People would say, "Hey, it's really hard to get booked to do live performances. It's like extremely hard. We get a lot of no's." So I said, "Okay, wait a minute. I can do something about this." So what I started doing, I created GRM Presents. And GRM Presents is sort of like the live performance aspect of Grand Royal Music. So I went to different venues, small venues in Oakland, Richmond, Berkeley, San Francisco, and we started like doing gigs. And I met people along the way. And one day I met this dynamic young lady. She was like, "Devon, you should do an award show." And I said, "An award show? Never thought about doing an award show." And so and I kind of like, I said it's possible, but I kind of like put it off. And over time, she would constantly bring it back to my attention. "You need to start an award show." And then like in 2017, we agreed to like start the first GRM Awards show, which would take place in August of 2018. And it was pretty good. We had like a lot of good performances. We gave out a lot of awards. It touched a lot of people's heart, and that was great. I felt really good. It's like, well, you can't be done with one. You got to do more. So around 2019, we had our first announcement party style dinner meeting in Albany, I believe it was. And we picked out mid-February because it was like the birthday of like a great jazz musician from the Bay Area, Craig Brown. He wanted to be here, but he had another gig to go to. So we wanted to do it like either on his birthday, but somewhere in the area of his birthday. So that's why we chose the mid-February date. In this case, February 19th, for that purpose. And so, now I'm going to give you the intent of the GRM Awards. So the intent of the GRM Awards is to honor unsung artists, artists who did a lot of work but wasn't appreciated, even young artists, young talented musicians, singers who doing work now, and they want to get some positive feedback from their work. And that's, one of the reasons that we started the GRM Awards. And also, it applies to independent artists. Anyone independent, first in the Bay Area, but not just in the Bay Area, but also all around the world. You can submit and be honored to receive an award from GRM. And that's sort of like why we started that. So also, this marks the point of the GRM Award season. So we're making it a whole season from now until we actually present the awards. It'll be the GRM Award season. So that's one good thing that comes with this, in addition to the other stuff I told you. So another thing GRM is doing, we're creating an A&R department. And the A&R department will be sort of like the first point of contact for the GRM Awards nominees, people who want to have questions about, well, how do I get nominated? People who would like questions about, well, explaining the awards packages, and also the press tour and the publicity tour as well. So we created that for that purpose. So we have one esteemed individual who stepped up, who wanted to be part of the A&R department. And so this is esteemed and great and beautiful young lady. Her name is Bennett Decimy. So I'd like now to introduce her and have her come up and address you guys and say a few words. Give her a real warm applause.
Hi everybody, my name is Bennett Decimy. I'm 20 years old. I've lived in the Bay Area for about 17 years. I came here from Ethiopia when I was about 3 years old. Ever since I was a kid, I've always had a passion for music, for art. I'm actually an author. I'm on my way to publishing my 3rd book. I write poetry, and I'm working on a spoken word album soon to be. So I was really appreciative of this opportunity to be able to just meet new people, collab with artists, and kind of be in a space where I feel like there's more of a voice for artists and for people that don't necessarily find themselves at the peak of the competition that goes on around in the Bay Area and Oakland and Richmond, all these areas. And I really wanted to be able to kind of come together and just feel more of an understanding for artists. I'm an artist, but I don't do music necessarily, so I kind of wanted to be able to go ahead and just see the different sides of the industry, and hopefully present more opportunities to people I know, people around me, and people that I'm soon to meet.
Right, thank you. That's very wonderful. We definitely appreciate Bennett for those inspiring words. So right now, I would like to take the time to tell you about the GRM Presents podcast series. So we got a podcast series called GRM Presents, and it was originally started to promote the artists who were nominated for the GRM Awards. And so now we've broadened it to have the ability to promote independent artists, and other artists as well who would like to have their music played through our network. So our first show, GRM Presents Podcast, started like last year, I believe early August, and so we've been going strong ever since. And so we also had an addition. The addition is the Birthday Drama Hour. And Birthday Drama still is, but was originally started as a TV show to promote a singer who really enjoys having a birthday. So she do everything around getting her birthday party set, where she gonna have it, what cake she gonna buy, what she gonna wear. So that was the television show. And so from that television show, there was a spinoff called My Music Block TV. And My Music Block TV, it will start filming again probably this summer. But the intent was sort of like give more promotion and exposure to musicians that this artist knew and hang out and run into, like especially ones she met for Birthday Drama. Their video would be featured on My Music Block TV, or any show she meet artists, they'll be filmed on My Music Block TV. So that's sort of why we have that extra hour for my birthday drama. The birthday drama television show is featured at the beginning of the GRM Present podcast. So that's why we have that. And so for the podcast, if you like to submit your music, if you'd like to be a guest, if you like to request music or partner or advertise with the GRM Present podcast, you can do so by sending an email to grmpresents@yahoo.com, and within 48 hours you get a response. And also, we recently had a very motivating, a very esteemed guest on the show, Dr. Moses, who happened to be here with us now. If Dr. Moses would like to come up and give some kind words. So give a warm applause to Dr. Moses.
Thank you all. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right.
Truly, it's a truly pleasure to be among such renowned people. Even though I don't know you, I just feel that your spirit is renowned. Okay? You know?
Step back so you can be on the live.
Oh, wow. All right, thank you. I didn't know that all that was going on, but again, truly a pleasure to be around positive people. And one of the things that I like to talk about is health. I am a doctor. I'm a doctor of chiropractic, and under that umbrella. But what that also entitles me is to be able to talk about not so much pharmaceutical items, but things that affect the body and how we can overcome it naturally. So many people I've seen are getting hip replacements, shoulder replacements, knee replacements. And it's a constant thing. But why is that happening? Did that happen 100 years ago? Why is there so many diseases? All these things going on in our lives. Why? So my whole thing is let's find out and let's see if we can make some changes in our lifestyle. The biggest problem I get when I talk to people about this is that people don't like to change. They don't like to change. So we have to overcome that first of all. And we have to realize that health is our real wealth. And I hope to be back on the podcast again real soon. I have a lot more to talk about. I definitely want to share everything that I have. I do a lot of reading, a lot of research. So that's what I like to do. All right. Thank you very much for having me.
I heard it too.
So thank you, Doctor. greatly appreciate you being here, giving us those inspiring words. So right now, we're going to take a break and we're going to introduce a legendary Bay Area comedian to the guests here and also to the guests in the live stream world. So with great pleasure, I would like to introduce Legs Malone.
Hello, everybody. I'm not a legendary comedian. I'm just an up-and-coming comedian. I don't want to put too much on. Well, you know, I've been doing comedy for about, like, I would say about 4 years and, we're going to say a few months. Since October of 2015. Yeah, October 8th, 2015 was my first time ever touching the microphone to do stand-up comedy. So, what got me into it was, for a long time, people have been always telling me, like, Legs, you are funny. You need to go ahead and do comedy. And everybody on even every job that I've always had, managers have always told me this. But I always had a fear of, like, man, you gotta make people laugh on stage like that. That do not look easy. So I never wanted to. So what happened was I was telling the story to my pops. I was telling him about my trip to Mardi Gras, and just so happened, just like how it is here, everybody just sitting down having a good time. They always say you never know who may be at that table or may be in that audience. So what happened was I was telling them a story about my trip to Mardi Gras, and just like y'all, there was a person by the name of Tyrone. He was a vendor at this major comedy showcase that be thrown every month. So he had asked my father, had your son ever thought about doing comedy? And he said, man, we've been telling him that since he was 16 and he now 32. He ain't gonna do it. So dude, I said, well, you know, just tell him that we'll give him 2 free tickets and just have him around. So I was still no, but the last thing my pop said to get me change my mind was, son, there ain't too much stuff I believe in, ain't too many things I believe in. But you making a living off of people making people laugh, I believe in that. And when he said that gave me the courage to say, okay, well, let's go meet him. So we went to go meet him, and what happened was I met the people backstage, and I met some other comedians, people who's well known, featured for Cedric the Entertainer. So I'm telling them about a situation where, since I only got one leg, so I'm telling them a situation about how I always wanted to get with a female, but she don't find out until later on that I got one leg. So that was like something on my bucket list, and I was able to cross it off. So dude thought it was very funny. He was like, did you speak to my manager, Rick Sullivan? And I was like, yeah, I spoke to him. So we ended up, so when he told me that gave me the courage to get on top of a microphone. So my first time going inside a microphone, doing comedy, I didn't think I had done that well until I got to the bar. And the owner of the bar was like, man, he said, man, one thing I want to say is that when you was telling your story, did nobody read the newspapers? Everybody was literally listening to you. You was actually making people be quiet. And people was actually coming up to the bar to buy a drink. So he was like, at the Ivy Room, he was like, would you like a drink? And I was like, I really don't drink. And he was like, man, just come on, you can have a shot or whatever. So I was like, okay, well, let me get the Hennessy XO. So he gave me the Hennessy XO, and then he was like, man, you need to go to another place to do comedy. So that's what got me doing comedy, and it was a trip. I actually signed my real name, Abdon Sandiford, but I take it like God was speaking over me, because right when I was about to put the last letter in my name, which was the letter T, all of a sudden I heard a voice go off in my head say, nah, erase that. Put down legs, spell it with 2 G's because you wish you had 2 legs. And then comedy, it's all about your delivery. So Carl Malone was known as the mailman, so I was like, Malone. And that's how Legs Malone came and was born and now doing comedy.
Thank you, Legs along for those motivating words. You know what? Whenever you at a club that sell liquor, if you get in and you start doing something to make people buy more liquor, they'll love you. Yeah. Let's see. So right now, I'm going to get into doing like some announcements for like GRM Presents. Just giving you guys updated on some of the stuff that we're going to start doing, some of the stuff that we're going to modify, and it's going to be real good. So here we go. So what we're going to launch real soon, this pertains to the GRM Presents podcast. It's a raffle. It's called The Season of Love. And so the Season of Love will give people the opportunity, if they tune into the podcast and also follow the message board, they can win prizes. They can win gifts. Get really good stuff. Because you know with GRM, we give you stuff that we love. So if we love it, you know you guys will like it too. We're going to be giving you any dingy gifts from like the 99-cent store. Wouldn't be nothing like that. It'll be some high quality stuff. The grand prize would be really great as well. So the grand prize will be given like the last week of the whole raffle season, which would start from like the whole duration would start from like, it'll be like 2 months. But coming up to the grand prize, each week, each broadcast, people will have a chance to win prizes. We will give out at least 4 prizes each week, getting bigger and better up until the week of the grand prize. I could reveal what the grand prize is, but I won't. But guess what? It will be coming real soon. So stay tuned. So the second thing I'd like to mention is that we'll be starting a newsletter called the GRM Monthly at the beginning of March. So we'll have GRM news as well as news and releases about different artists and things that they're doing as well. So if you guys want to get up on that, I'll be posting something specific about it real soon. It'll tell you exactly how to get in the newsletter. So it's open to artists, open to business people who like to be sponsored and have their services get more exposure. It's for that purposes as well. And that'll start March 1st. If not March 1st, somewhere at the beginning of that month. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about the GRM compilation. So it's an actual compilation album that GRM is doing. It's actually volume 2. We had volume 1 before I started the award show, so we're bringing it back. We're going to have the second volume starting possibly beginning of June or July. Submissions for that will start in April. So we have that. So you want to be part of that, I'll be posting something real soon telling you exactly how to be involved with the GRM Volume 2 compilation. All right. Let's see, the next thing. Next thing to announce, we'll be having like a GRM Presents / GRM movie documentary. It'll be probably 30 to 40 minutes long. We will release that probably in beginning of May. If not, it may be sooner because I'm thinking about, so I'm doing another GRM Live event. So I'm thinking about combining that with my next GRM Live. And the next GRM Live will be in April, so we might debut the movie at the next GRM Live as well. So stay tuned for that. May have something posted on the website. So if you'd like to check, go to grmpresents.com. If it's not there, it'll be there within a couple of days. And so the next order of business I have to mention is about the GRM Music Business Seminar. So we're going to do a music business seminar the focus will be towards people who are getting into the music business. If you're in it and you have any questions about how to further your career, do things more effectively, it'll serve you as well. So that's definitely going to be at my next GRM Presents Live, which will take place either April 1st or April 2nd. I'll post an ad real soon about that. So if it's not on the website now, it'll probably be on the website by the end of the week. So if you want to be part of the GRM music seminar, business seminar, you can do that as well. So the next thing is GRM is coming out with a quarterly magazine called GRM 780 Quarterly. So every 3 months, we'll have a magazine available for artists, business people as well as anyone in any creative genre within entertainment could be featured in that magazine as well. So it's not just limited to singers, rappers, and songwriters, but also comedians, dancers, filmmakers, people who's good at style and makeup as well. So we're going to have a whole lifestyle section in that magazine, as well as entertainment and music. So we're going to do that every quarter. So most likely we'll start it in June, but it'll be updated on the website real soon. So the last thing I want to talk about, like right now, we got special promotional services for artists, primarily people who sing, rap, and do music. We have certain services that'll be discounted for like a limited time, maybe 1 or 2 months, might be sooner. And so right now, everything is ranging in price from as low as $5 to as much as $60. And that's for the GRM 780 2020 special promotions. That's actually on the website now, so if you want to check it out, go to grmpresents.com. All right, so those are the GRM announcements. So right now, I want to bring to you another well-renowned Bay Area singer. She's going to do a few words. Maybe possibly she might sing a song. If not, she'll give you some more classy and graceful words. Her name is Caroline Christine. Can you give her a warm round of applause?
First of all, thank you for having me here. To my surprise, this past August, I won an award for music dedication, and I was completely surprised where for the first time in my life I was at a loss for words. I was under the impression that I was there just to entertain and cheer everybody else on. So when they called my name, they had to call me twice. And I was like, what? So I've got to thank you again for that, because it was a total surprise. Thank you so much. I sing songs from the 1940s. I would say maybe 30s, 40s, 50s, early 60s. So all those, I think they call them all the golden girls, like Nina Simone, especially Billie Holiday, Nancy Wilson, Dinah Washington, June Christie, all those singers from that time. For some reason, I'm attracted to that music. I'm attracted to the evening gowns, everything about that whole period, the big band era, all of it. I don't know why. Maybe it's my grandmother whispering in my ear, telling me, you need to sing this song. But I absolutely love that music, and that's the music that I sing. I just think it's a period of time that needs to stay. because those women and men, like Nat King Cole, they were the trailblazers, I want to say, the trailblazers that started all that music that was like, it's like true to life. They weren't sugarcoating anything, especially Billie Holiday, because I had a chance to play her in a show that I was in New York, and to read about her life was amazing. Then later on, I went to LA. I had a chance to play Miss Dorothy Dandridge, which was another tragic life, but they were the most amazing women ever. So if I can even, like, I don't sound like them when I sing, but I hope that I embody their spirit when I sing. So, and this is why I sing their songs, besides loving them. I mean, I sing other music too, but that's mainly my genre and what I do. So thank you again. It's nice to be here. I'm here to support everybody. So hopefully, those of you that are nominated, best of luck. Thank you.
Wasn't that great? So we got a lot of wonderful artists that people generally don't have a chance to see and connect with. And that's one of the reasons why GRM was started, so we can sort of like connect these great talents with more people around the world. So thank you, Caroline, for those great words of encouragement. So right now, we have another great performer, great singer in the house. She's going to come up and give you some words and also say some poetry. So give a warm round of applause for Chanel J. Wilson.
Hi everyone, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm really appreciative of GRM Presents because it gives all of us independent artists a platform to actually unite, put our work out there, and really just heal the people's, I always call this ministry. For me, I've been writing songs and poetry since I was 13. I've been performing since I was 3. And I started getting serious about songwriting and just really serious about speaking about our human experiences and our human conditioning, because I was always concerned about our humanity and how we were going to get life correct. I always think about where are we going to be 50 years from now? What is that going to look like? I was a part of a band called The Joystone, with Winston Edwards over there. And then we had a son. And when I had my son, he changed my life. He changed my whole focus on just what this world looks like. I began to see this world very, very differently. And so when I began to get back into my writings and get back into focusing on what was going on with the world and just looking, what can I get for my peace offering? What can I leave for him as a legacy? And I began to get serious again about those songs that I've been writing for years and years. And so I started workshopping all those songs. And what ended up happening was I ended up with a full catalog of material. Met with the producer in the Bay Area, and we decided to pull one song and release it and go for that. And so from then on, I'm now Chanel J. Wilson, singer-songwriter and recording artist here in the East Bay. Mental health is very serious, and so a lot of my topics span from that. It spans from a lot of experiences I've had, experiences that I've seen. My father's a retired police officer in Oakland, California, so we've always seen various situations. I've had family members who participated as foster parents, so we've come across so many different stories of just what has happened. And then even in our own families, I know we all have had those kind of experiences, but we've seen just how our system, how life, how drugs, how all kinds of different things impact how we live, and we're always trying to keep moving forward, trying to overcome. So a lot of the material I write is always about either overcoming or about talking about those really small moments in life that sometimes we don't want to share, but it's from the purposes of trying to find solutions, from the purposes of getting us to talk about it so we can seek and find healing. So that's kind of where I come from. I believe that creativity and love can heal this world. And so whenever I write, whenever I perform, I believe that I'm helping. And I believe that if any artist gets up and performs or speaks whatever they're feeling in their heart, they're adding something to that I said, like, that platform and to that place of humanity to help us heal. The poem that I wanted to do today is entitled Relief, and I wrote it back in 2010. I was going through a really dark period. I kept finding myself having a lot of trigger moments. I don't know if has anyone had like trigger moments where something comes up or something happens and you find yourself just kind of going somewhere you weren't expecting it. And I noticed it was happening a lot. And I said, okay, I can't make excuses for this anymore. I got to deal with what's going on. And I ended up both going to therapy and also journaling. And in the process, all these poems started coming out from my past, things that I would numb, things that I didn't want to remember because I was either embarrassed about it or I was bullied or something happened. You know, I come from a family that, even though we're now in a place where we're able to talk and heal, I come from a divorced background. So I experienced a lot of different things from that experience, from watching my parents go through that. And for me as an artist, I've been performing since I was 3. Because I was a performer, because I was like a little unicorn, I got picked on a lot. But I would always see life like, I want to do this play, I want us to do this. And, you know, I would find myself always, you know, everyone loved me, they supported me, but I was always that oddball out kind of too. So it helped me look at other people who would have those oddball experiences and it's like, we're going to love each other, we're going to get through this. So that's kind of where all these poems and pieces come from. I just released it on Amazon, so it's there now. We're working on an audiobook right now for it. And at some point, we want to do some kind of visual component for it to kind of just share the stories, because I am a storyteller, I'm a writer, I'm an author as well. And so this piece I'm going to do is entitled Relief. So I'm getting over cold, so I'm going to try to project as best I can with this one. Relief sermonic, the spoken word. When ideas become phonic instead of mind thoughts, merely heard. Pressure tank full, no steam gas released. All this tension equals no still peace. I need to have quiet night slumber, wake up refreshed and rested, instead of counting sheep in numbers, then jumping up, rushed and congested. My headache snarls my mind, wanting to be free. My heart's perplexed, chasing all this insanity. I need an in case of emergency, break glass, pull handle, grab extinguisher type of relief. I need a sudden spray, instant cool burst to fan the ferocious flame of this anxiety. This mental mind control keeping me hex-vexed with mouth dry with disdain. Unable to see, I squint, then clearly focus, all to realize it was already in my plane. The relief says, it's all just a distraction, trying to keep me out the air while in the storm. Yet there's no need to brace for impact due to this small infraction. My side merely has a small thorn. Relief sermonic, the spoken word. When ideas become phonic instead of mind thoughts merely heard. Pressure tank full, no steam gas released. All this tension equals no still peace. And so that was Relief, and that is on we just released that. Thank you so much. We just released that as a book form. It's on Amazon now. If you go on my website at ChanelJWilson.com, you can see the link there. And we are literally recording the audiobook version of it now. I think it'll help a lot of people. We're in a really interesting time, an interesting season. So much is going on both politically, systematically, jobs, our economy. We're still recovering from that. What happened in 2008, and you hear so many stories. You see homelessness. You see it's a whole new look. It's a whole new experience every day. We're in a different times, a different struggle. So that's what those pieces it just delves into all of that. I'm trying to think of anything else. At some point in March, I'm going to have a single coming out as well called Black Heart on the Table, and that's going to be my EP for the summer, and that's also another piece. It's going to be about 3 to 5 songs just dealing with our human conditioning, dealing with things we don't want to talk about, but we need to talk about. And it's just about healing. It's about putting our heart on the table and saying, you know, even though we've been through these things, we're still family, we're still kin. I may not be able to heal you, but I'm here for you. I love you, and we're gonna walk through this together. So I'm Chanel J. Wilson, and that's what I do. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you guys so much.
Chanel. That was wonderful. It's always a pleasure having Chanel. I think we had her for a couple of performances.
Yeah.
It's always great having her perform. She's a very dynamic and entertaining performer. So if she's performing anywhere, if someone happened to tell you about it, I suggest that you go see her perform. It's not a commandment, but do yourself a favor. You'll be very happy afterwards. All right, so we're getting to the whole reason why we all came and assembled here in person and also in the streaming internet world as well. All right, so here we go. So the first announcement I would like to make, I'd like to say now, okay, I'll say now. Submissions are officially open. So anyone who wants to submit for a GRM Award nomination, you can do so right now. All right. So let me explain to you a little bit about how we do it at GRM. So most independent award shows, I think most award shows in general, have like nomination fees. We don't do any nomination fees. We're totally against nomination fees because to us it kind of don't make sense. You're not getting the most out of the nominations by having a nomination fee. So we decided, okay, let's modify this, let's change this, let's flip this into something better. So we have the GRM nomination packages. And what each nomination package does, it gives the nominee the opportunity to get more promotion for their work, more promotion for them being a nominee of the GRM Awards. They get radio interviews. They get spots and promotions, write-ups and reviews, and magazines and blogs. We even do a press and publicity tour for these artists. For certain fact, they go around to different stations, different places to be interviewed, talk to DJs, talk to people who would help promote them and get them further and more exposure. So we have the nomination packages. So that's the first thing I wanted to mention about the GRM submissions and nominees. So now that, wait a minute. There's something else I'm forgetting about the nomination packages. Something else we have. You get live performances, more live performances through GRM. You get certain packages. You get to have VIP status for red carpet purposes, interview purposes, videos. Also, you get to possibly perform at the main event as well as the pre-show, and also be a VIP, you and your guests, at the victory brunch, which takes place either a day after or a couple of days after the main event. So we're giving you guys gold status like all the way around, because we want you guys to know that we love and appreciate your talent, and you deserve to be treated in this way, where you actually get stuff for what you do, right? So that's why we decided to do that instead of like just the fee. So the second thing I'd like to announce is that the location is set. So the location is kind of a departure for the first 2 years. The first 2 years we did it in the Albany, then last year kind of like in the Hilltop area. This place we're doing like I believe Tower of Power said, going back to Oakland. So we're going to Oakland at the prestigious Preservation Park, Nile House. So we'll have the main ceremony there. Now the pre-show venue and the victory brunch venue, they're not set at this time, but they will be probably by June. We'll probably make the official announcement during that time. So Nile House, Preservation Park. I got to give you the date, actually. So the date, August 28th, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. August 28th, 6 p.m., 10 p.m. at Preservation Park inside Nile Hall. All right. So the last thing, well, not last thing, but maybe close to the last thing, we have a very esteemed and very wonderful host for you guys this year. She actually won the West Coast Mogul of the Year honor at the 2019 GRM Presents. She has a very, very successful talk show that's broadcast in Southern California, but it's actually through Dash TV on demand. It can be seen in over 60 million homes. And she was also nominated last year for the 47th District Businesswoman of the Year. So she's very esteemed, and we're very fortunate to have her. And her name is Dr. Latricia Wright. So Dr. Wright will be the host. Wonderful lady, great personality, very intelligent, very beautiful. She'll be our host for this year, and we're real lucky to have her. And so those are the main announcements. Closing remarks, I will say the next GRM live event will be at the beginning of April, and we will possibly combine the GRM Business Seminar to it, as well as the debut of the GRM Awards documentary movie. So thank you guys for joining us for this live feed. Thank you guys for being here. Now we can enjoy dinner. All right.